In the Haus of Banstead, we design for humans. And I know it's on the nose, but we always come from the focal point of grounding you within the center of your home, within where you live, so that you can have the most enjoyable experience and be the best version of yourself. And we do this using a whole bunch of things. We obviously have a luminaire game where we bring some nice layers of light using different textures, scale. We're big on using scale. We scale, here's a big room, a grand room, and then we kind of accentuated the grandness with something that drops and pulls your eyes up to the ceiling. And again, we use the neutral palette to ground you within that space, but also have materiality and texture. This is dark, it's playing off of the neutrality. So that's something we do here at the Haus of Banstead, and we put in the pops of color and always just having you interacting with your space. So another thing we love the use of glass. And glass, we use woods and glass, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful stairs, which kind of shows you, it just shows off, it's an art piece, the way it goes up into the living areas upstairs. And again, it's about, just feeling what you're doing within that space. It's an open riser stairs with, the white, the side to it, which again ties into, brings it down, it's warm, the white oak against the white oak. Again, it's just structural, it's it's art piece in itself. So the luminaire game continues. This is another amazing piece that we sourced for this project, Melvin. It's beautiful drama. It went into the concept design from an early stage. So we actually had the dining table, which was a pre-existing dining table that the client owned. And instead of changing it, because they liked it so much, it had some emotional connection for them, we retained it, but then designed around it. So we used, again, custom, artwork, which was designed specifically for this room and tied into our luminaire, which is amazing. The angles against the custom design, and of course the colors popping out really accentuate what would have been maybe a dull room, because of the dark, the color of this was quite, muted and dark, and we just wanted to kind of, give it some life, and we did that with the luminaire, the layers of light and the custom art. What's a home without the center? So in the Haus of Banstead, because we're so connected to making your house a home, the real deal in terms of your functionality, we pay incredible attention to the functionality within the space. We don't want it to just look pretty. It is pretty, but we want to bring in everything that makes it a place you want to be and for it to work for you. So this kitchen for Project Melvin, the client actually wanted all white cabinets, which we mostly stuck to, but we then incorporated some warmth with the oak finishing on the front side. So the client still got what they wanted, but I was able to convince them to put in a bit more warmth so that it elevates it, and there are details all around the kitchen from the island where it's inset with the white oak as well. And the big one for me was just the incorporation of storage without it being a pantry. And that literally stores everything. You have appliances, you have actual pots and pans all tucked away. At the Haus of Banstead, we value everything that makes you you. So your identity, your culture, your preferences, it's center stage in the way we design. And in this particular project, we actually listen to our clients because culturally they cook a lot. There's a lot, they store things in the freezers and usually they keep them outside of the kitchen, and it's just quite a pain to go pick up stuff from the basement. So one of the things we tweaked around was to bring the storage from where the pantry would have been into this functional wall that we talked about, but then moved a proper standard size freezer into what would have been the pantry. And that's amazing because it cuts down time and they have access to everything they need. And it's just about listening to the way your client uses the space they're in. And the kitchen, we curate for kitchens. It's not just somewhere you cook. It looks pretty too. So our little thing is we go all over the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, and we bring things back that look good within your space. And, these are some of my favorites. Obviously, we have the little kettle and we just pay attention to all those things and make your space joyful and everything you want it to be. This is one of my favorites, and it's just dramatic. It just takes you outside of the usual island fixture, and it's art. So sometimes we find pieces that in themselves are artistic and they really have the form and the structure. This really does that. It packs a punch, the layers of light work. It actually really illuminates the space. It creates that moment between mood and moment, which is what I call good ambience, when you have the perfect light. And of course we set it off with, the black velvet chairs. So it's just something we do. We pay attention to all those little things, and it's what we love to do at the Haus of Banstead.